I went for a jog like I do every morning. Same route, same pace, same peace. But then three German Shepherd puppies appeared from the trees, covered in dirt, shaking, alone. They followed me. 1 kilometer. Two. I tried to ignore them, but they wouldn't leave. And what happened when I got home was something I never could have imagined. A story that would change how I see loyalty. And who's really saving who? Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, click that like, and turn on notifications because this story proves the ones who follow you silently might be the ones sent to heal your life. Asterisk. The morning was cold but clear, the kind that made each breath burn just a little. I laced up my shoes, pressed play on my running playlist, and stepped out into silence. Running was the only part of my day that felt right lately. Ever since Dad passed and the house felt too quiet, I used these early morning jogs to push away the heaviness. One step, one breath. Repeat. Halfway down the old dirt trail near the woods, something caught my eye. 3. Shapes, still as stone. I slowed down, pulled out an earbud. They didn't move. 3 small figures just off the trail, hidden partly behind a fallen log. Puppies. German shepherds. Still young, not more than 3 or 4 months. Each one was different. One jet black, with fur that glistened like charcoal under the rising sun. Another pure white, almost glowing against the leaves. The third brown with messy black spots across his back and a patch over one eye. They didn't bark, they didn't run. They just watched me dot. I looked around. No leash, no owner, no sign of anyone nearby. Hey there, I said softly, crouching down. The white one took a step forward. The black one growled faintly. The brown one stayed perfectly still. I stood back up. Unsure. I can't take you. I'm sorry. I turned and jogged away. After maybe 50 meters, I glanced back. They were following me. I slowed. Stopped. They stopped too. You serious? I jogged again. So did they for 2 kilometers? They kept pace. Their tiny legs working overtime. They didn't yip or whine. They just stayed behind me, never more than a few steps back. When I reached my driveway, I turned around out of breath. They stood there, muddy, breathing hard, tails low, ears perked, watching me like they were waiting for permission. I shook my head, half in disbelief, half in awe. You guys really don't have anywhere to go, do you? The black one sat down. The brown one lay down slowly. The white one walked up to me and licked my hand. And in that moment, something shifted in my chest. Like maybe I wasn't the one who had found them. But they had found me? Asterisk, I hadn't. Planned on taking them in. Honestly, I figured I'd give them food, post a photo online, and someone would come forward. Lost pets, maybe. Or dumped. Either way, it would be temporary. But when I opened the front door and said softly, "Well, you coming in?" They didn't hesitate. The black one rushed in first, inspecting every corner of the living room. The brown one sniffed the floor, cautious but calm. The white one didn't move until I stepped back and held out my hand again. One by one, they crossed into my life. I closed the door behind them. Their paws left muddy prints across the tile. I didn't care. They drank water like they hadn't seen it in days. I gave them leftover chicken, and they devoured it in seconds. They didn't fight. They didn't make a sound. Only once did one of them bark, a sharp, single noise from the black one. When he saw my reflection in a mirror and panicked, that's when I noticed it. The scars faint, but the white one had marks around her neck, like an old collar had been too tight. The brown one had a small cut near his back leg. The black one's ribs showed more than they should. These weren't pets that got lost. These were puppies that had been through something. And now they were here, in my house, curled in 3 corners of the living room like they'd lived here forever. No names yet. Just colors. Black, white, brown. Names didn't matter that night. What mattered was that they looked at me like I was the first safe thing they'd seen in a long time. And as I sat on the floor, watching them sleep, I realized something else. The house didn't feel quiet anymore. It felt full. Later that night, I scrolled through the local lost pet listings. Nothing matched. Then, by chance, I saw a post in a local forum, just a sentence. Anyone else here crying near the woods this week? Sounded like animals. That was 3 days ago. I clicked on the comments. The second one chilled me. I thought I saw someone dump a bag from a car near the trail entrance. Didn't get the plate. My stomach dropped. That trail was the same when I ran. That bag, those puppies, they hadn't followed me because they were curious. They had followed me because someone had left them behind, and I was the first one who didn't walk away. Asterisk, the next few days moved in a rhythm I hadn't felt in a long time. Every morning, I'd wake to the sound of paws on the floor, sometimes gentle, sometimes chaotic. The black puppy always rose first, alert, pacing like a tiny soldier on duty. The white one curled beside the couch, blinking slowly as if waking from dreams she didn't trust yet. And the brown one, he'd be snoring, always the last to get up, always stretching like the morning sun belonged only to him. I started calling them by nicknames. Shadow, for the black one who followed every move I made. Luna, for the white one, with that calm, watching stillness. Patch, for the brown one, with the black eye spot and a clumsy, goofy grin dot. It wasn't intentional. But once I named them, something changed. They started coming when I called. They listened when I spoke dot. It felt like a home, but not everything was easy. One night, I knocked over a broom dot. It clattered to the floor. Dot Shadow yelped and bolted under the table. Luna froze, trembling. Patch jumped into my lap, shaking like a leaf dot. It took me 10 minutes to calm them. That was when I knew it wasn't just abandonment. They'd been mistreated dot each in different ways. Shadow flinched at sudden movement. Luna hated being alone in a room, even for seconds. Patch whimpered in his sleep, paws twitching, but despite it all, they trusted me. That week, I built them a play area in the backyard. Nothing fancy, just a few ramps, some soft grass, a kiddie pool. They went wild. Luna ran laps around the fence, tail in the air like a queen reclaiming her land. Patch belly flopped into the water, barking at his reflection. Shadow climbed the ramp, like he was training for something bigger. Watching them play, really play. I realized something. They weren't just surviving anymore, they were healing, and so was I. That night, I sat on the porch steps. All three curled at my feet. The stars were out. The quiet no longer hurt. I said aloud to no one in particular. I don't know where you came from, or why you chose me, but I'm not letting you go. Patch opened. One eye. Shadow licked my hand. Luna rested her chin on my foot, and I knew. Whatever had come before. This was their home now. The fourth Sunday with the puppy started like all the others. Shadow pacing. Luna waiting quietly by the window. Patch belly up on the couch. I was finally used to the noise. The chaos. The joy. But that morning something felt off. I was making coffee when Luna let out a low growl. Her ears were back. She stood up, stiff. Shadow joined her, hackles raised. Patch barked once. Loud and sharp. Then came the knocked out firm. Heavy, repeated. I froze. Who knocks like that on a Sunday morning? I opened the door slowly. There stood a man in a dirty flannel jacket, mud on his boots, and eyes that scanned the living room without greeting me. You the one who found the shepherd pups? He asked like it was already settled. I didn't answer immediately. Who's asking? They're mine, he said flatly. I want them back. My chest tightened. The dogs had all retreated behind me. Luna let out a whimper. Patch was hiding behind a chair. Shadow stood tall, baring teeth. They followed me, I said. From the woods. No tags, no chip, no posts from you. Where have you been? He sniffed. I don't got to explain anything. Their dogs wander off. That's what they do. But he didn't call them by name, didn't bend down, didn't look relieved. He just stood there like he was reclaiming property. I don't think that's true, I said, louder now. They didn't run. They were dumped, abandoned. His face tightened. You accusing me of something, kid? I stepped forward. I'm saying they're not going anywhere with you. He laughed. Bitter. Cold. You think they're yours now? Just 'cause they followed you? Cute. He started to step forward, and Shadow barked out loud. Protective. Fierce. The man flinched, then muttered, not worth the trouble, and walked back to his truck. I watched as he drove off, tires screeching against gravel. The dogs didn't move for a long time. Later that day, I called animal control, gave a description, told them what I knew. They said they'd look into it, but I knew the truth. Whoever that man was, he never cared for them, and for the first time. I realized I didn't just save them, I had protected them. And now they were protecting me too. Asterisk after. The man came to the door. Things changed. I tried to act normal, to keep the house light. I still took them on walks. Still played fetch in the backyard. Still let Patch steal socks and Shadow patrol the windows like a tiny sentinel. But I couldn't stop thinking, what if he came back? And the dogs, they knew Shadow started sleeping at the door every night. Luna, always gentle, now followed me. From room to room, Patch didn't play as much. He'd nuzzle into my chest, needing more reassurance than before. Then came the rain. A storm rolled in one night. Wind. Thunder. Sheets of cold water. The 3 puppies huddled beside me in bed. Shaking. Shadow flinched at every boom. Patch whimpered and dug into the blanket. But Luna did something I'll never forget. She crawled closer to my face, licked away my tears. Yes, I was crying, and then placed her paw gently on my chest. Like she was saying, I've got you too. It broke me. In the best way. That was the night I stopped calling them the puppies. I called them mine. A few days later, I took them to the vet. Real appointments this time. Vaccines, exams, microchips. Finally, the vet smiled when she saw them. They bonded with you like glue, she said. They're going to be loyal for life. Shadow sat by my feet, upright and proud. Luna leaned into my leg. Patch climbed onto the bench and tried to chew the clipboard. On the way home, we stopped by the pet store. I bought 3 new collars. Black. Leather for Shadow. Soft white for Luna. Brown and orange for Patch, of course. Then I saw something on the clearance rack. A big wooden sign. Love is a 4-legged word. I bought it without thinking. That night, I hung it above the doorway. It felt right, because love had walked into my life without warning. On 4 little legs at a time. Asterisk, it was supposed to be a normal walk. Late afternoon. The sun low. The leash clipped to Shadow's collar. Luna walking gracefully beside me. And Patch zigzagging ahead with too much energy and no sense of direction. They loved the park, so did I, especially now. I let them off leash in the open field, like I always did. Shadow stuck close. Luna sniffed flowers near the bench. Patch saw a squirrel, and bolted. I called him once. Light-hearted Patch. Come back, but he didn't. I called again. No response, then I ran. The bushes near the edge of the park rustled. But I didn't see him. I kept yelling. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Then the panic hit. I checked the road. The alleys. Every backyard gate nearby. Nothing. I called out loud. Again and again. Baish. People stared. A few offered help. One woman asked if I had a photo. I showed her one on my phone. Patch with one sock in his mouth and the other on his head. She gave a sad smile. Looks like a troublemaker. We'll keep an eye out. By the time the sun disappeared, I was still searching. Luna and Shadow walked beside me in silence. They knew something was wrong. Luna cried softly every time I stopped walking. I walked the trail back home in the dark, leash swinging in my hand, eyes burning. And when I turned the corner onto my street, I saw him sitting in front of my house, covered in mud, panting, tail wagging slowly. Patch. I dropped to my knees. My chest collapsed into sobs. He ran into my arms and buried his head in my hoodie. I held him like he was made of glass. Shadow barked with joy. Luna jumped in circles around us. And right then, I realized something deeper than I ever had before. I didn't just care for them. I belonged to them, not out of obligation, not out of pity, but out of something stronger. Thought they were my family. That night, as we lay in a pile on the couch, I whispered, "No more leashes, no more fear. Wherever you go, I go to." And they slept beside me, warm, whole, and home. Months passed. Seasons shifted, and so did everything else. The house was no longer quiet. It echoed with paws, barking, toys squeaking underfoot. My mornings weren't lonely jogs anymore. They were chaotic sprints with three shadows at my side. Shadow still guarded the door with military precision. Luna waited every evening on the same windowsill when I came home. Patch stole socks like it was a calling from heaven. I hadn't planned for any of this, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. One Saturday, I received a letter in the mailbox. It was from the local shelter, the one I'd called. After finding the pups, they had closed the case. No one had come forward. The man who showed up that day, gone, never seen again. It was official. The dogs were mine, even though, truthfully, they always had been. I framed the letter and hung it next to the photo I'd taken a week before. The three of them asleep on the porch steps, sunlight on their fur, peace in every limb. Later that night, I sat outside, just watching them. I remember that first run, that first moment in the woods. The way they followed me, like they already knew I'd need them, maybe more than they needed me. And I thought, home isn't where you live. It's who waits for you when you get there. They weren't the dogs I rescued. They were the family. That found me. I went back inside and pulled out my phone, typed out the message. 3 German Shepherd puppies followed me home once. I never meant to keep them, but now I couldn't imagine my life without them. If you're going through something, loss, loneliness, change, don't close your heart. Sometimes the best parts of life come running after you when you least expect it. I posted it with a photo of all 3 sleeping in a heap, one paw over the other. And finally, I exhaled because I wasn't running anymore. I was home. If this story touched your heart. If you've ever been saved by something you thought you were saving, subscribe. Give this video a like and share it with someone who needs hope today. Because sometimes the family you need isn't the one you search for. It's the one that finds you.